Yes, thus far the Lord has brought us. In how many days 2020 is going to end? I know most of you can't wait for it to end. 2020, a lot of things have happened. Lord is stoning a lot from us. Some of the things that COVID-19 has stolen from us, we will actually feel it, unfortunately, in 2021. It's been a tough year, but then we don't want to end the year as a broken people. People who have lost their self-worth, people who have lost their confidence, as people who have nowhere to go because of bridges that we have burnt. Today we are going to find out how we are going to reconstruct or pick up the ashes, the leftover wood and what stones or whatever it is, to mend the bridges, to make sure we end the year on a positive note as better people, but not as bitter people. And I have the right people here to talk about it. Relationships matter. Family is everything. You can't take family and relationship out of human existence and progress and development. It is part of it. So today, we are going to have a frank talk. We are going to have a candid discussion that hopefully, in the next 1 hour, will leave this program with something tangible to work with. Welcome to The Standpoint, the last program for the year 2020. Let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth. My dress was made for me by Bri Redua. Thank you so much to her. My wake up by Inshilo GH, makeup product by Con Professional Makeup, and Face Beats. That's the makeup, applied on my face by @IAM_J Cloud. We take a break. When we come back, we meet. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. This is our last program for the year, and it's going to be, I'm sure, the most important program that you need to watch before the end of 2020. Healing. We are going to get today. Healing. I believe so. I'm sure I am going to get some healing. And so call your friends to call others to tune in and to watch this program wherever you are. Let me say thank you to our sponsors. That's Red Rock Golden Ginger Ale, caffeine-free. It is made with sugar from cane. That's sugar cane, direct, no preservatives, no processing. It is non-alcoholic. It is, a brand that has been respected and known since 1885. If you want to be a distributor, if you want to be a wholesaler, just contact them and they will be willing to do business with you. Thank you to Con Professional Makeup. They came in latter part of this year, but they've been supportive and we're so grateful to them. Esteron Balloons and Accessories, everything balloons, everything accessories. They've got balloons are for all occasions, and so call them and they will sort you out. Now I'm so excited about my panel. It was last minute, but because you see, me, I'm a lovable person. People love me. It's only you who don't love me. So last minute, and they agreed to come. So on my panel at my extreme left, I have Mrs. Teresa Riafi Asante. She's a family and life counselor. If you do listen to Home Affairs on Joy FM, you always hear them calling her Osofu Mami with swag. That's her. Welcome to The Standpoint.
Thank you very much.
It's a privilege.
I am glad to be here. I am glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank God. I'm so grateful. And then next to Osofu Mami with swag is the relationship counselor with, I don't know how to describe him. But then, if you've heard today, most of you who follow him also, you're going to see him face to face. It's PJ Sebastian, who is a relationship coach, and he He is also most of the time on Home Affairs, on Joy. I mean, I like to give credit where credit is due because that's where I got to hear about him. That's how I got to hear about Mama. So, Adam, thank you so much. You are doing an amazing job, and we all need to support each other to get far. Welcome to The Standpoint.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
2020. Are you glad it is ending, Sebastian?
Yes, I am glad. I am very glad. I think it is going to give all of us a new opportunity to start afresh. But as has been said, whatever 2020 brought us, we're actually going to feel a lot more of the impact in 2021. So I guess a lot more people need to brace themselves and get ready for 2021. I don't want to say that it is going to be a tough year extremely. Yes, it will be hard. But I believe that if anybody has been very circumspective in how they see things, they would have by now been able to put their things together, draw some plan and some strategy around 2021. And then, so that even when they go into 2021 and the circumstances haven't changed, they would have probably re-strategized, therefore making it easier for them to go through 2021. Exactly. So for
Mama
me.
Tess, somebody said that, one of the people that were really hurt in 2020 were Christians. Because as Christians don't want to think about anything negative. We always want to believe that it's going to be positive throughout. Because with God, all things are possible. Everything is. So Christians struggled, really struggled through the year.
It's true. And I am, like I said, I'm glad to be here. I am so glad to meet you. And 2020, a roller coaster year. Too many things happened. I remember when we received 2020 from 2019, and at church we were pronouncing our declaration, our theme for 2020, and everybody was happy, a year of excellence at ICGC. And so too many things were lined up for 2020. Myself, I had too many things lined up. We did not envisage all of these, but things happened. And like a boomerang, it just happened. And it affected a lot of people. And like you're saying, the Christian community was deeply affected because everybody wants to go to heaven. Yeah. We don't want to die. No. And so the two of you were telling me something now. I think that when I come to that place, I may sound a little controversial. Sometimes I sound a bit controversial, off the normal, because if everybody wants to die and everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die. There's sometimes, as a matter of fact, are we thinking right? Yes, some people may be raptured. Others may have to die before they go to heaven. Sometimes as Christians, we are not telling ourselves the truth. Yes, sometimes we are in denial of a lot of things, but truly 2020 has come with its difficulties, absolute difficulties. Since I have been around for the last 53 years, this is the most, perhaps apart from 90 what?
53?
90, is it?
No, 83.
83, yeah. This is the
Sebastian wasn't around in 83.
I was.
Definitely around. My mom went to hide me in Seshi. And that's why my grandmother was abundant of food.
Right. So this has been a very difficult year. And sometimes we are told not to say difficult. But you see, there are times when we have to say the reality and not hide behind spirituality and not speak the reality. And so, yes, we have been so hit. Why? Because many of God's people are not, most of the time, prepared. Somebody was going to give me a job. And then when he told me, I said, oh, I can't take it. Then immediately I told myself, when am I supposed to start? He said we are going to go through in 2 years. I told Sebastian I'm going to school. In today's world, prepare for the opportunities you are expecting. But most of us are, I listened to a man of God I loved. He said that somebody who had been to school, perhaps to a point, got an appointment of a chief director. And so we are clapping for God. And then after it, I know him. So I called him and I said, yes, God has given her this position today? How's she going to keep at it? How's she going to maintain it? And so sometimes we are saying things and we are making faith look like an abstract something. And so, yes, it has been difficult. The church was deeply hit. Our pastors had gone through so much. Many things had come up. All our frailties, our weaknesses, our other things have so shown. And so I know that going forward, as much as we are supposed to be very optimistic, and so I'm not talking about pessimism at all. I am looking at optimism, but I'm also saying that as we go on, let us be very proactive in our approach about things.
Right.
For most
Now,
of us as Christians.
Excellent, amazing. I mean, Sebastian, one of the things that for me, when especially lockdown came in, was like, wow, now it's going to build families. It's going to let, husband and wife marriages, they bond, but somehow it rather took
The opposite.
the opposite. What happened?
Well, truth is, a lot of us are married, but we really don't know ourselves well. And we cover our inadequacies, our inabilities and everything with work, with other social events, and the fact that, we are never always available. We find two things. Either it is our own inabilities and inadequacies, or our fear of confronting our partner's inabilities and inadequacies. Because, the thing is, you know that if you bring up this conversation, it's going to lead to a fight. Then I might as well just keep quiet. After all, how many hours am I in the house with you? We sleep for, say, 7 hours, 8 hours, and then wake up for like 2 hours. Chances are that we don't even drive the same car to work. So it is easier for us to just run away. And we always run away and we run to work. We run away, we run to church. We run away, we run to social gatherings, and then everything. We do everything but confront who we are, meet our partners for who they are. A lot of parents don't know their children because we are busy and we don't want to confront the reality that we are not giving time to our children. So we overcompensate them. We buy them internet, we buy them laptops, we buy them cell phones, we buy them games so that their hands are full, thereby giving us the liberty to go out and go and do whatever we want to do. Then lockdown came. So the escape route for the man who is running away from the wife or the woman who is running away from the husband was blocked. Now the escape route for the man who was running away from their own ghosts and their own demons was also blocked. Then again, you see, when we go out there, we just don't go out there sometimes to just do the legitimate things. Sometimes we have illegitimate stuff. Some galam says that we are mining somewhere. So immediately all of these things were blocked. Then who we are, our inadequacies, our fears, our side businesses, and our loose ends began showing. And it is not a lot of people who are able to quickly adjust. Sometimes, no matter how well you adjust, you can't, if it is not a real adjustment and you are just trying to camouflage things, sometimes it comes out. So in the process, it began coming up. So then people just started getting tired of their partners. The same thing that you probably were fighting over at the initial stage of your marriage. You got a job, probably got promoted. Your work schedule became a lot more. Probably you traveled out of town to work. All of that is confronting you again. The things that you were running away from and you were scared to fight, now they are confronting you again. You wake up in the morning, you are in the same space. And you see, if your house is not as big as some homes where 5-bedroom house, you can always disappear somewhere. You have a chamber and a hall. Wherever you go, the wife you are trying to avoid, you meet her. Wherever you go, the man you are trying to avoid, you meet him. And the children are in your space. And that is when people's nerves began becoming raw. You know, people were easily getting irritated. And then, things started coming up. Now, the girl that can't call you when you are home. Only, the two of you talk only when you are outside. Now you are home 24 hours. And this girl also needs a fix. So this girl is now calling you. Now you can't receive the call in front of your wife. So you have to pick the phone and go out. Now your wife is beginning to nag you. Why is it that you always receive
always this call?
This guy that is your mechanic, he only calls you when you're at work. Now this guy is calling you during the time you are there with your husband. So like you're all over the place and you can't be anywhere. So it's begun unraveling people's relationship because then who they are began coming out. And your partner is smart. So after a while, they begin to put 1 and 2 together. This is not the man I married. This is not the husband, the woman I married. So gradually, it became, hot flashes and hot spots in various homes, leading to marriages unraveling. So
would you say that it exposed the true us.
Yes, yes, in a grand way, and in a way that cannot be hidden again. It exposed who we were.
Let me take a break. When we come back, we are going to go straight into, as a people, we don't like to carry over, the negatives into a new year. And it's for a good reason. I would want us to look at how to mend the bridges. I mean, the strained relationships, how to come together. Because sometimes it becomes, things have been said, things have been exposed that you just ask yourself, do I really want this? Do I really want to stay in this? Well, let me say thank you to our supporters, Awake Purified Mineral Water and Royal Drinks by Casa Preco Company Limited. Go-Got Yogurt. As a woman, yogurt is very good for you. And if you have to go for yogurt, it has to be Go-Got Yogurt. House of Food, thank you so much today. House of Food is spreading my team with fufu and aponchi kakra, so they are in a hurry to finish, to go and enjoy. Thank you. So thank you so much to Mrs. Soforipoku. Thank you. You've supported us throughout the year, and we are so, so grateful with everything you gave us anytime we have a recording. Cake Technique International, we are so grateful to you and everything you've done for us. Yacht Cleaning Service, Kodam's Gifts and Stationery, we are so grateful to you. In Kunim Grocery Store at Pram Pram and Samenshia Frozen Food, thank you so much for all the support you've given us. And it's along the Pram Pram Road, just by the roadside. So you just have to stop there. And apart from that, let me say thank you to Yehoah Don Bathing as a person for supporting us. We are so grateful to her. Mini Cakes by Anne Menzo. Thank you. We are grateful. GTP, Timeless. Grateful to you. We take a break. When we come back, how do we get back? How do we get back to where we are supposed to be? How do you deal with the pain? Do you just forget it and let it go? We'll be back. Welcome back to the Standpoint. Thank you to GTP for my cloth. My dress was made for me by Brie Redua. My waker by Inshilo GH. And of course, makeup products by Cone Professional and applied by @IAM_J Claude. Thank you so much to them. Mama Tess.
Yes, I can
Asamaba. You're a counselor. I'm sure you heard a lot of things.
Too many things
that happened. Some, I don't know if it can ever be mended, but some can be mended. But somehow you don't know how to take the steps. How do we begin to mend our broken homes?
Over the years, I have come to believe that everything is possible. Not even from the basis of scripture. So I am putting the Osofomame thing on the side. And I have come to believe, having dealt with people over the last many years, have been at this for at least 18 years. And so I have come to realize that everything is doable. Everything is possible. You can forgive everything. I have heard a number of very distressing stories, which sounds like you cannot forgive. I mean, this is unforgivable. But the truth is, there is something in the inside of us as human beings. It is God himself inside of you, whether you are Christian or not. The Spirit of God that dwells in you, that which got you becoming a human being, is what resides in you. And that is God himself. And he's able to forgive everything. I have heard very bizarre stories. I don't want to start sharing them here. But those are the ones that sounds like we can't forgive. Have you heard my story? Everything can be forgiven. If it is your husband who has gone astray, he can be brought back home. That is if he wants to come home. You know, every day it's about if the person wants to. That you can do as much as you can. The other person's opinion is also so crucial. And so if it's your wife who went astray, she can be brought back home. That is as long as the husband wants to bring her back home. The beautiful thing about women is that they usually want their husbands to come back home. Men are so territorial such that sometimes, even when he has left you and the marriage is dissolved or the relationship is gone, gone. He still doesn't want another man in your space. That is a man's territory for you. It's interesting, right? But for all of the relationships that went sour, that went bad, that went bitter, the truth is that if both of us want to work on this, we can work on it. Starting on a complete new sheet, we can. And there are very little steps we can take to get there.
Like what? Because, Mama Tess, you know, sometimes you just don't know how to
begin.
To forgive or where to begin. Do you just forgive by deciding that, listen, it doesn't matter, it's happened, let it go? Or the person will have to apologize and show signs of regret and willingness not to go back to whatever. Sometimes it's not just that the man has or the woman has gone, but words that have been said, some treatment that has been meted out to you, not the physical abuse and all that, but, you know, meant exactly.
Those are the most painful ones. The mental abuse, the emotional abuse, those are the most painful ones. A philosopher was telling me, I mean a psychologist, he said that there are times when, if you are my husband and PG is my friend, and the kind of love I expect from you as father, a child from his father or her father, from his mother or her mother, from siblings, sisters, family, the kind of love and commitment I expect from you, if I am not receiving it, on my mind, the emotional pain on the child or the wife's or the husband's mind is more painful than if he is receiving cutlass wounds. So you can imagine when somebody is going through emotional pain. So there are very little steps to take. And the first step to take is for whoever has wronged the other person. In the Christian community, and again in our traditional settings, we always say that opinioni abofra in dia sebna opini akora abofra endi bemda. And some of these beautiful things are not entirely true. If I have wronged you as a husband, if I did wrong you, we should be able to bring the matter up. The truth about most of our homes is this: we don't talk. We don't say anything until there is a problem. So from the beginning of our courtship, we are not even having conversations. We are doing all, yes, we are having, we are not having conversations. We are not asking relevant questions. Once on Joy FM, we were doing something and a young lady called in and the young man had called in to make a lot of noise. And the young lady said, I don't understand. That is after when we were finished and outside, they came in. Said, I don't understand him. When we were getting married, I remember I told him, I cannot live without money. This young man's business has crumbled after 5 years of marriage. I can't stay. I told you.
I'm sorry, I laughed, but
I told you before we started, and I am not going back on my words. I am not the dogs, forgive my language, but I'm not taking them back. I won't stay. Can't you see me? Like with me with my swag. How am I going to keep up with my swag? The truth is that when we have issues at home, and this is to husbands, a lot of husbands would rather that we don't bring it up.
Exactly.
So they will run around it, and the last thing they want to do is to become intimate with you.
And that's how it's come to. Why do most men think that once there's a problem and they have sex with you, the two of you come together, you make love, then it's over? They forget
that the woman has a bigger machine in her mind. They call it your subconscious. The woman's thought process, it's a huge one. When she has not gone through the process and you have not said, Era, this. Even when you say forgive me, which one are we forgiving?
Forgiving you.
We are talking about three things. One, you have been very irresponsible with small girls. Two, you have been two other things. You have. And all this is they're fetching me. Hey, you see, let every husband understand. Women don't fetch like that. We are very detailed people. So when you say that forgive me, tell me that Adwa, that's how my husband calls me. This yogurt that I ate, that is not mine. Forgive me. And
you have to be specific.
Yes. If you don't bring the details, and so most men, let me go back as I'll digress, would want to be intimate with you. After it, they think that you have talked about it. You have not talked about it. So you see, it happens again. And then most husbands will say, Mary, wait there. She remembers 3 years things. It's because we have not done a thorough job.
Mama Tessa, I'll come back to you. So that's what, from the day you are getting married, you are getting engaged and everything, they say the home, it depends on you, the woman. You know, maybe you are not a woman. Let me go to, okay, let's still stay on you, Sebastian. They tell you it depends on you. It's a woman who makes a home. When the home gets broken, it is you, the woman. Divorced women are attacked and called names, but divorced man is unfortunate. You know, he didn't get a good woman. You know, he didn't get an understanding woman. We put so much pressure on women.
Well, I think that a part of it is also steeped in our culture. You see, up until recent years, the core job of a woman was to stay home and take care of the home while the man goes out. So whether his job takes him across the sea or takes him to the nearby bushes to farm or takes him to do some small-time fishing, most of the time the idea is that he's not home. So it is the woman who stays home and therefore has to take care of the home. So whatever the man goes to hustle and brings back, it is the woman that takes it and uses it to take care of homes. We are in the 21st century. Things have changed. Me and you are traveling the same mileage to work and come back. So no longer is it a woman's sole office to stay home. Otherwise, then we will fairly also say that it's a man's sole responsibility to provide.
Take care of things.
But you and I know that most men are not up to the task.
No.
Because cost of living itself has gone up. The things that used to take our money 30 years ago, they've become very little. Because 30 years ago, it was just basic TV. GTV wasn't even collecting TV licenses. It was later that they started. Electricity and water bill, that's all. Now you have to do all that. Now you have to think about rent, and it's outrageous. You live at Adenta, you work on the high street, transportation is through the roof. Now you have to think about Netflix, and in that some house they have Netflix and they have DSTV. You are paying for all of that. So, you know, so you have multiple things that are taking money. Then again, you have children who don't go to school and close and come home. We have children who have to go for extracurricular activity. We have to go for swimming. We have to go for music, and it's all money. So one man, unless you you earn a huge amount of money, your money is not enough. So most of the time, it's a woman that supports it. You know, in some homes, they don't talk about chop money. I pay the bills. You take care of the home. It's an unspoken agreement. In some home, the car is being driven by, say, it's probably owned and fueled by the woman, courtesy of her job and her rank. So the cost of transportation is taken care of. Maybe it's even an office building. An office bungalow that the woman stays at, office accommodation. So the cost of bills and other things are taken care of, which then gives the man enough disposable income. So now, if the woman is taking a chunk of the family budget, isn't it only fair to say that then the man should also make himself available to help at home? Because otherwise, it's an unfair balance where the woman is supposed to take care of the home wholly, and then also contribute 50% of the family budget. Then what is really the man doing? Does that even call for leadership? Or does that even describe leadership?
Leadership?
No, that's not leadership. Because leadership is to ensure that all resources are harnessed well. Factors of production are harnessed well. And everybody is supposed to do what they are supposed to do. So yes, I think that it's a very bad cultural stereotype. So you have...
But you see, even that, Sebastian, let me come in with a cultural, because of my traditional background, When you look at it traditionally, culturally, in the olden days, there was nothing like stay-at-home mama. They followed the men to the farm.
They followed the men to the farm. It's true.
Or, the man will bring the meat and the product, and she will go and sell. So she was doing something.
It's true.
You know, the man is a fisherman. He goes to sea, he comes. The wife meets her at the, him at the seashore, collect them, and then go sell. But then over the years, I don't know what has happened. Mama says, somebody said that, listen, this whole thing about the man being the head of the family was actually dismantled at the Garden of Eden. When Eve took the leadership role and gave Adam the apple. So there and then he proved that it is a woman can take up the man. It depends on the circumstances where there's mutual understanding and respect.
What I believe, there are two things here I believe. I believe that the headship which is headship God has given to man. In God's wisdom, he bring out, that is what I believe, and that is truth. If couples would agree on this, we are equal partners here.
Partners.
In God's wisdom, he decides that one person should be the head. It does not make the other person the underdog. It makes the other person the help. And I keep asking young men, premarital counselors, if I'm supposed to help you, PG, so you are my would-be husband, what is it you are doing for which you need help? And if you don't know where you are going for which you need help, you don't need marriage. You see, so in some homes, there are women who are in their temperaments and in their upbringing, they have leadership qualities. So if you have a husband who understands, he plays the headship role, that is making sure that all resources are brought together to work with. And then he gives the woman the leadership opportunity. There are some husbands who are not good at leading things. And when they understand, they give it to their woman. And I am a very practical person. This man comes to me and says, my wife is taking over my leadership role. And I listened, so I met them. And I looked at the lady and noticed that she does too many things in the house. So I asked him, have you both had a conversation? When I asked the lady, she said, my father was always away. Every year, he comes back once in a year. So my mother was doing everything. My mother won't wait for my father to come before they fix this, fix that, fix this. And she had all brothers, and she's the only daughter. She picked it up from her mother. You can't take it away from her. But why should we fight over this? So the thing is getting that
kind of problem.
Yes, you see, and so both of us should get to a point of understanding. When I was talking about it's a man's duty to the house. You know, the Anglo-Saxophone word from which husband was translated is a band that binds all of us together, like a little wire that binds all of us together. So it means that when the one who is in charge of headship makes sure that everything is being done in its right proportion, then we are going, and there won't be too many hitches here and there.
So, Sebastian, the thing is talk. You know what baffles me, yeah. When I was growing up, our home, I grew up with a single father, you know, so I grew up in a broken home, but our home was like, you know, the counseling, you know, place. Everybody was coming in. Then one day I heard my, you know, father discussing something with them, telling them that marriage is you saying that you are naked but not ashamed. But I just wondered, our marriages have become so much engulfed in pride.
Yes.
And ego. Yes. That everybody feels, hey, me too, I'm somebody, me too, this. And we are not willing to become vulnerable.
Yes. I think that it is because, the scripture itself says it. And while we try not to make this a Christian, a preaching thing, the scripture says that in the last days, the love of many will grow cold. And people will become selfish. So ultimately, I don't want to say we are in the last days, but it has become evident that now people are not getting into marriage with the other person in mind, but it is what they will get, what is in it for them. So the African man is trying to figure out how I can be in charge, suppress my woman. So husbands have become competitive. If the wife decides, maybe you've decided to stop at master's or probably stop at first degree. You didn't have the intention of going further. Immediately your wife says, I'm enrolled in master's. Quickly, you also want to enroll in master's. It is not necessarily because he wants to develop himself, but he doesn't want to be at a place where he'll be vulnerable towards his wife or vulnerable around his wife. So people have become competitive. A lot of young girls are getting married, not necessarily because they love the man, but they love where the man is coming from. They like the man's money, the man's social connection, which then also brings to the example you gave. That this girl says from day one that I can't function without money. So immediately your money goes. The relationship is over. So you see, even before the marriage starts, he's hinted you that master, make sure you don't lose your money, which tells you ultimately that it's not about love. It's not about love.
Which will put a lot of pressure on you as well.
Exactly. So this is what is happening. People have become selfish. People have become self-centered. So it has then affected what people are willing to endure, what people are willing to go through, what people are willing to do in the name of love. So now, people, then again, naturally as a society, we become a a fast food society. Everything that we want, we snap our finger, we need to get it. We don't know delayed gratification. We don't know allowing things to mature naturally. We become the people who put the mango, the green mango, under heavy heat just so that it will be red the next day. We don't know how to allow the fruit to develop on its own. I always tell young people when they come with conflict, I love to counsel those who have been married within the first 10 years. I love it because I think that this is the area where a lot of people go through conflict. Fix it for them and it's easier for them to go. I tell them that this is a period that you are likely to have a lot of your fight, the first 5 years. Because now you are coming to know each other.
Tell me about it.
You are coming to know each other. Now, all of a sudden, the realities are sinking in. If you're not careful and you got pregnant in the first year of your marriage, you have a child or two that you have to deal with. You haven't even figured yourself out. Now you're figuring children out. And these children are taking the mother away. And so the man feels alienated. If you don't get people to look beyond themselves, look beyond their ego, their pride, their selfishness, and cut their spouse's slack, and believe that things will get out, will come around better, and then they communicate well, eventually the marriage will collapse. And that's why we see a lot of people who have dated for 5 years, they marry an 18 and they are divorcing. I'm like, I mean,
what happened?
What happened? You've dated, you were together for 5 years, and then you married, and in 2 years you are divorcing. No, it's because when we moved in, I'm like, exactly, you've moved in. That's exactly what is supposed to happen. You know, so what you do, just begin to look. So for instance, like if we bring it to 2020, we are looking at all the things that have happened, like Mama T said. I asked for apologize. But I think that first and foremost, let's talk about the issue. Let's address the issue. Let's not sweep it under the carpet. Let's confront it. Because for as long as we are unwilling to confront it, what it means is that we wouldn't have healed the wound for the way it is. So the wound is likely to get festered. Exactly. So let's talk about it. Then sit down and let's plan. Let's put pen to paper. Let's plan. Next? What next? What can we do better? All these mistakes and problems that we've noticed, how do we fix it? You know, if you think it's beyond you, see a counselor. See a counselor, let them help you. There are always professionals who can help you. See them. If you after that, you need to come to a point of understanding that it's not everything you can change. So in your marriage or in your relationship, list all the things that you know you can't change. Either about you or about your partner. Then look for the things you can change and work towards it. Go back against your counselor. Let them help you with how you are going to work towards it.
Let me take my final break and we'll be back in this year of farming. What can I sow and reap? Family, the importance of family, the role family plays in our development, personal development, professional development, because anyway, I'm not the counselor. They are the counselors, you know. But let me say thank you to our supporters. Go-Got Yogurt, Awake Purified Mineral Water, Royal Drinks, House of Food, Cake Technique, Yap Cleaning Services, Kodam's Gift and Stationery, and Menzo Mini Cakes, Inkunim Grocery Store, and Sementia Frozen Foods. We thank all of them for Juice Time, 100% fruit juices. We're so grateful to all of them. Remember, this program is aired on 6 channels. That's Joy Prime on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. on EBN TV on Saturdays at 9 p.m. on True TV on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and then on Facebook, on YouTube, and our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, powered by Dream Oval. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Sebastian, in conclusion, what have you got to say to couples who are struggling this year because of the things that have happened, the things that have been exposed, the things that have been said, but they're still living together? Some are even separated. You know, what can they do?
I think if it is beyond them, so first and foremost, let them both admit that we have issues. There's a couple that I'm talking to. The guy says, there's no problem. And the lady also thinks that everything is a problem. So that's where the problem is. The mere fact that the two of them can't even agree on
whether there's a problem or there's no problem.
So at least, even if you don't believe that the problem is as bad as your partner is projecting, seek help. or sit down first and foremost and talk about it. If you're not getting your equilibrium, seek help and then talk about it. There are some conflicts that once they begin to show up, it only tells you that this marriage will not work again. There's no shame. And again, let me not even use the word marriage. Let me say relationship, just so that it covers both the married and then the singles. Sometimes you get to a place you realize that the things that are coming up, it's only evidence that you've been living in a dreamland and you believe in a life of a lie. Yeah. So what is coming is basically to tell you that this relationship or this is where it ends. It's okay. There is no shame about it. Sometimes it's the fear of what people will say. And the children. But you see, sometimes what we fail to see is that while the children live and observe the toxicity in the marriage, you only reinforce it in them. They grow up to continue that vicious cycle. So sometimes it's generational care. Sometimes just pure socialization. As they watch, they become. And I've seen young men, and especially the boys, they see how bad their parents treat, their fathers treat their mothers, and they swear heaven and earth, I will never be like my father. Then they are exactly like their father. Because you see, you can't say one thing to diffuse or destroy what you are being socialized or conditioned. So if you get to a point where you realize that this is beyond repairs, it is okay. Walk your way. Let your husband go their way, or the wife also go their way. I always say that oil is not bad in its own. Water is not bad on its own. Just the two of them can mix together. So sometimes the man is not evil. The woman is not evil. No. It's just that the two of them really didn't actually take their time to come to a point of agreeing that can two work except they agree together? We can't agree together. So let us go our separate ways. They were just infatuated about one or two things. They married. But in reality, they don't gel on different levels. Allow each other to go. Graciously let the man go. Another woman will love him for who he is. Let the woman go. Another man will meet her and love her for who she is. But in the process, make sure that it's a very good path that you are choosing. Get the right person to help you. If you are so much you really want to get a divorce, for instance, for the women, don't be led by emotions. Ask yourself, how do you thrive after this place? Sometimes you don't even have the wherewith to rent a place, and then quickly you want to divorce. Then the man, now it becomes the man's prerogative to get you money to rent a place. Then that becomes another set of wahala for you. Now you can't sleep, you can't dream, you can't do anything. Please make sure that there is no rush. As painful as it may be, plan well.
Mama Tess.
Yes. So
finally,
to finish with, I will pick up from where PJ left off. Don't bend the bridges. No matter what, marriages have always been difficult. You talked about where you lived. My father was a Jantuahine. And so most of these things, I saw it growing up. Marriages have always been difficult. When people say that, old-time marriages and now, no, there's not much difference. Then men were marrying 6 wives. 6 wives. So marriages have always been difficult. The truth is that there are times you meet people that your compatibility, you are never able to work on it. If it becomes that problematic and you want to leave, my mother would say, work with a gentleman's agreement. And I have seen people who have divorced on a gentleman's agreement and their children have no problem. And both of them, though they have gone their separate ways, have no problems. Again, there are 2 things that will not change. And everybody, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend should get. There are 2 things we are going to be doing for a very long time. Forgiving. And compromising. There are times you must learn to compromise for some reason. And so there are times when it is very painful. It is very difficult. But sometimes just look forward and forgive people and compromise a little. Not on bad things, on things that you can't change. Sometimes say, there's a tree word. So when you get to that point and you realize that then you what
how to deal with it.
Again, the third thing is about husbands, wives. Nobody borrows money to marry their enemies. Marriages has always been difficult. Walk the walk. Husbands, learn to speak. If you know the languages of love. For me, if you buy me a dress, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. If you give me this, I don't mind. If you wait on me, I don't mind. My love language is to learn to speak to me. You know how I was talking to you yesterday? for me, yeah, me mama tea, yeah, me of my was
Right.
swag. Me
Yeah.
the in our right. So if you get to understand this, but there is one truth that words, when you spew them out, when they are bad, getting them back is difficult. There are times you speak to your wife, you say something to your husband, or Dana or Jane Juan, she can't think far. What young man's name? Lewin, I borrowed your language, please. And sometimes you tell your wife or your husband something. When she goes to sleep, she begins to like, so am I this foolish woman like that? She's asking herself, please, let us be a little decorous with our words with one another. Sabi your berima, you married a wife in a can language. You haven't bought a property. Please treat your women well. Treat your ladies well. Treat your wives well. Treat your husbands well. For fathers, let your sons notice the way to marry. Let them learn from you. Let your daughters say, I want to marry a husband like my father. If your daughter has still not said at 24 years, I want to marry a husband like my father. And that recently, a young lady I was talking to, do you want to marry him? He said, you and your boyfriend, what happened? I said, Mommy, he's just like my father. The way my mother is suffering, hey, he should go ahead. I won't try this thing. If your daughter doesn't want to marry a husband like you, you have not been a good mentor. And if your sons don't even want to marry at all because of the pain you are showing their mother, you have not been a good standard. Every young man at age 20 to 25, 26, 28, when he's beginning to choose a wife, wants to have a mentor in his father. Children mirror parents. Please, for the sake of posterity, our children, we are lovers. We are not enemies. Don't talk to your wife. Don't talk down at your wife as if you have married a foolish woman. I am begging husbands and wives. Let's make life beautiful. There is nothing as beautiful as in this life as a good reunion. Jeremiah 37, there is hope for our future. We know without a doubt that the year ahead of us may come with its troubles and pain. But we also know that there is hope for our future. No matter what, we will sail through. God is with us. Whether you believe in Christ Jesus or not, I know you believe in God because we don't want to make it a church. As much as you believe in God, this life belongs to Him. And He takes care of His people. Those who have died doesn't mean that He didn't take care of them. God does His ways, and that is why He's sovereign. Let us allow our relationships to do well so that our families will do well, our churches will do well. At the end of the day, our Ghana will do well.
Our Ghana will do well. You can take the Mama T from the church, but you cannot take the church from Mama T. Hallelujah. And PJ was even quoting. You can take PJ from the church. But in life, it is there. Thank you so much. And though this is the first time you've been on the Standpoint and the first time of having a program with you at the end of you have mentored, you have spoken, you have really healed homes, you have really brought reality to a lot of relationships. So we have a little token. We just want to say, well done for a job that you did consciously or unconsciously. So I have a pack of Red Rock for you. Go to yogurt. We have mini cakes from Anmenzo, and then a fabric from GTP. And Peter, what are you going to do with this one? This is lipstick or something.
Lipstick.
Let me see. His wife is not here.
When she comes.
You have Nisi, so
she'll come for Christmas.
She'll come for Christmas. Okay. Oh, so by the time we air this program, she'll be here. So you can, let me check what it is, so that Madam will see it. Nobody will cross you on the way and say, PJ, give it to me. He said, Masaya, dear. Let me see. Oh, nice. Yeah, the yogurt is okay. Lipstick. Okay, that's good.
Wow.
You know.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please keep doing what you're doing. Keep healing homes. Keep speaking to families, to relationships, and building our confidence and our boldness to be realistic and not super spiritual. And believe that God will take everything away. My father says that it's the foolish one who says that I have faith. So you see an articulator coming and go and stand in the middle of the wood. By faith, it will not kill me. You will die.
You will
because
die.
God has given us wisdom.
And God will lash you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Everything. Yeah, and it's beautiful to end the year with my two favorite people. God bless you. All right. I'll be back with a bit of me. We are here. It's the end of the year. What's it going to be? What is your decision? What are you carrying into the year 2021? 2020 has stolen so much from us. Well, not so much the year, but COVID-19. We've gone through our personal hurts, our personal disappointments, our personal downfalls, you know, the rock bottom experiences. Some of us lost jobs. We lost, you know, money. But others also lost relationships. There were separations. There were divorce. There were misunderstanding. Things were said. And we are carrying on like robots. We are keeping up appearances, but most of us are hurting. Because 2020 exposed the real us, brought forth a lot of secrets in our marriages, in our relationships, even at our job places. We got to know who we truly are and who our partners truly are. Things that were hidden that we didn't dream of came to fore. Our palace came falling down. Our safe haven. We are walking around wounded. We are walking around with wounds that go so deep. We need to start treating it. It won't take a day. It won't take 2 days. It will take time. But let's start now. Let's start mending our brokenness. Let's start seeking healing. Let's start talking. Let's start, reaching out. Let's start apologizing. Let's start forgiving. As for forgetting, well, I'm not expert. I can't tell you about it. But please, you stand to benefit. I stand to benefit if I let go of that burden of guilt, of pain, of misery, of bitterness. Togetherness is beautiful. 2021, may we desire, may we strive to be better human beings, to support each other, to build beautiful homes. Because you know what? It all starts with the family. If the family cannot stand, the society will not stand. If the family is hurting, the society, the country will hurt. If the family is hurting, the society, the country will hurt. And that's the hard truth. That is the hard truth. For how long can we pretend? For how long can we keep up appearances? Let's start addressing the wound from its source. And gradually, we will heal. There will be scars, but we will heal. May the Lord have mercy on us. May the Lord grant us wisdom, strength, favor, grace to be able to forgive and go back to what we were supposed to be. Go back to where we first found love. May we find trust. May we find solace in each other. I remain the woman with super crazy faith in God, but God has given us wisdom. Let's apply it. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. And hey, 2021, we shall meet, and it will be glorious. Bye for now.